Hey y'all, welcome to Craftable Things. I'm Patrice, and today's video we are simply going to be downloading a file from Etsy, and I'm going to show you all how to upload that file into a proper design software. So this is a file that we'll be looking at today. This is a bling file from my Etsy shop, and we are going to go over how to properly download it. I've been getting a lot of emails and messages as far as how come the file looks like it's broken up or it's not fully there. That's because you are looking at it in your browser. So we're going to go through the whole download process right now. So now we're going to just simply download the file, and once you download the file will go into your download folder. Inside of your browser, there is a download tab or icon where you'll be able to see which of your files have downloaded and which files did not download. So now the Blingologist file has downloaded. It is the file at the very top, and we're going to select Open File. Now when we select Open File, this is not opening up into any design software. This is opening up into your web browser, which is not a design software. So when you're opening it up this way, it is simply just letting you know your folder that it's going to be in and the file name. So on your screen, at times you will get an image that looks like it is cut off and that it is not completely there. But this is just a preview. Some images come in like this and some come in as they should appear. But you cannot cut or print out, or you should not print out, but you cannot definitely cut out from your web browser like this when you're working with these types of images. To open this properly, you will need to go into your File Explorer folder or your file documents and open it up from there. When you open up that folder, you will be able to access any file that you have downloaded. So sometimes you have a file folder at the bottom. That's where you will go into, or you may have it on your desktop. So right now we're going to select downloads because that is where it downloaded. It downloaded into your downloads folder. You can also access the folder, or you can access your quick access downloads files. And so here you will have everything that has downloaded. But right now, as you see the little icon on the left, that icon is saying that it's going to be opened inside of Microsoft Edge. Remember, that is not a download software. You can select the default program that you want this to open up into. Now, you will not set Cricut as a default. So if you don't have an actual design software onto your computer, then you will always have to open it up into whatever program you're going to be using it inside of. So we're going to get ready to open up Cricut Design Space so that we can open up our file. So now we're inside of Cricut Design Space and we need to upload our file. So I'm just going to select Upload from the left panel. Once we select Upload, we want to select Upload Image. And this is going to open up our File Explorer or our file folders. Again, I forgot to mention I'm working on a PC. And so then you're going to select Browse. Once you select Browse, you want to select your Download tab on the side or your Download button. Once you select your Download button, because that's where we download it. Now, if you have it set to default to your documents, then that's where you'll find it. But for us today, it is inside of our downloads. So now we see our file there once we selected Downloads, the Blingologist 1 Ombre, and we're going to select that in order to import it into Cricut Design Space. So all we're going to do is select it and click Open. And now it's uploaded into Cricut Design Space. As you see, the entire file is there. So you must open your files inside of a design software that is capable of handling SVG files, PNG files, and that sort of file, because if not, it won't look like it's the right file. So we're going to add this to our canvas, and I'm just going to select the file and click Add to Canvas. So now our design is loaded onto the canvas, and before we do anything, we need to look at the design. Before we ungroup it or deselect out of it, we need to check and see what size the design is. And right now it's saying that this is a 7.474 by 4.898. and that is not the correct size. So inside of all of my designs, inside of the description is the size of the file, and also in the screen name is the size of the file. So do not ungroup anything. Make sure that your proportions button is still in the locked place, because we're going to need to adjust the size. So let me go ahead and look at the actual file name so that we can see what size it should be. So under the Blingologist file, we have the size of the stones and the size of the design, which is 11.799 by 7.732. So we need to input that inside of the size field in Cricut Design Space. So we're going to head back to Cricut Design Space and adjust the size. So make sure you look at the width and the height so that you know for certain. So now we're going to make sure we have the entire design selected. As you see, that is 1 over in the layers panel, and it's a drop down, so that means it's counting that as one particular image at this time. Now we're going to type in 11.799 in the width area, and we are just simply going to tap over. If your proportions button is locked, you will not have to input the height, but if it is unlocked, you will need to put the height in there as well. Okay, so you want to make sure that it is correct. But as you saw, it updated to the correct size, and that's only because the proportions button is locked. So everything is looking great. This is the size of the design. This is the most important part right now, because this is going to make sure that your holes cut correctly to the correct size and that your design is correct. All right, so right now, this is just one image, and you need to do this first before you ungroup or do anything else. Make sure everything is selected when you resize the design. Okay, so now we are going to get ready to ungroup. And to ungroup this, we're just going to head up to the ungroup icon over in the layers panel and ungroup all of the design. Now, as you saw, the layers panel change, and it just made everything on one layer. Before, everything was on just one layer. Now we have 4 different layers, okay? And that's indicative of the 4 different colors. So any of my designs that have multiple colors, that means that those are different layers. This design is not intended to be cut all together. So do not weld the design to cut and use just one stone. That is not going to work for you. Okay, you're going to cause holes into the flock. So right now I'm separating it to show you the different parts, the different layers, and everything is looking good. Now, once you get ready to cut, you don't necessarily have to ungroup it in this manner. It just needs to be ungrouped in the layers panel, but I like to do this so that I can know exactly how everything is supposed to look. Now I'm going to just change the color to that salmon color, because that's the color of the flock. And also, it really doesn't matter the colors, because the flock is one color and you can cut it all on one mat. You don't have to do multiple mats, because when you have different colors, that's usually what Cricut will generate for you. All right, so now we're on to the next screen. I clicked make it so that you can see how you should set your cutting mat up. So I'm just going to reduce the screen size so that we can have everything onto one screen and we can see everything. So right now, the inside of the word bling is an ombre effect, and so it's 2 parts. So you want to make sure that you cut that correctly. So the way that it's set up here is perfect, because it won't be confusing, because if you don't have it kind of back to back where the bottom is facing the top part of the word, and if you have it the correct, like how we're going to layer it, it might be a little confusing for you, especially the way that the ombre dots look. You won't know where to cut, where your center line is going to be. So you always want to kind of have that separate so that you don't make a mistake and cut the wrong circles that belong on one side or the other side, and then you may eventually, you know, just mess up your design. But honestly, if you kind of avoid cutting those circles in half, it'll still fit no matter how you put it together. But for the purpose of how I designed it, that is how it should be done. But everything is looking good here, so now you can go ahead and cut it. This particular design needed the 12 by 24 mat, so just know that. But for the most part, that's pretty much it, how you need to upload your your files. So if you enjoyed this video or learned something, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We have amazing crafters who are super willing to help and are awesome, and they know their stuff. But that's it for today, y'all. I appreciate you guys for purchasing my stuff and also for supporting my YouTube channel. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time.